Yo,
how's it going?
Good, man. Been a long time since I've seen you, man.
Yeah.
Yeah.
2 minutes.
Yeah, you're all the way upstairs.
All the way upstairs, yeah.
What's it like up there?
Just watching my dog bark at some mule deer.
Yeah. Yeah, we get some deer that are there just by random chance.
Yeah.
I guess they like it out there.
Yeah, well, there's this time of year, there's grass and stuff. My lawn, they can eat my lawn, you know.
Yeah. They get a little bit of frost on the lawn. We got our second decent snow.
Yeah.
Everybody watching back from my ex home is be laughing. I didn't look at the temperature. It's probably 25 there.
Right.
But when the shit goes down, they'll be stuck.
They'll be stuck.
They'll be stuck, and I'll be up here.
We'll be frozen.
Yeah, we'll be stuck in a different way.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, highlight of the week for you?
Oh God, I don't know. Ugh. In what regard? What category?
Doesn't matter.
Doesn't matter. I don't know. Just getting more stuff done on the homestead, getting ready for winter.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'd say that's a highlight.
The grocery companies
this
are
was
Jews.
for me.
You know, Galen Weston, he's a Jew, and all the other people are Jewish. So if you're Jewish, that's bad because, like, you have so much money, and, like, all of us need that money because, like, we're poor, and, like, all my supporters, they're on welfare. Like, this is the thing, fam. Like, ever since I've been on the Six Bus, like, I realized I didn't really like the Jews. You know what I mean? Like, so when I see the Israel-Gaza thing, like, I'm, like, trying to fight the disinformation, but I'm also kind of like the disinformation, you know what I mean? Like, I see the video from Syria from 2012 of a kid buried in rubble. I'm like, that's some crazy video of right now, you know what I mean? And you should believe that, too, because the Jews are evil, you know what I'm saying? Like, all the CEOs of all the grocery companies are Jews. You know, Galen Weston, he's a Jew, and all the other people are Jewish. So if you're Jewish, that's bad because, like, you have so much money, and, like, all of us need that money because, like, we're poor, and, like, all my supporters, they're on welfare.
What a genius. Like Ben Bankus. Ben Bankus. Anybody on Twitter, give this guy a love and a like for that one. How he decided to go Rasta with him is beyond me.
It worked, so.
Yep.
That was good. Yeah.
Other highlight of the week. Say again?
Yeah. We got Fauci, $300 tickets.
Yeah.
Hamilton, of all places.
Hamilton, Ontario. Standing room only. $300 per ticket to see Fauci in Hamilton, Ontario.
Why?
Yeah.
Are they that desperate in Hamilton for, like, any kind of entertainment?
Yep. I guess they are. They'll never get the NHL, so they're getting Fauci.
And Fauci. Wow.
Our official reply is that we're saving up for the Theresa Tam
World Tour
Unplugged show.
God.
Unreal, eh?
I don't even get. I mean, that guy should be in jail, you know?
I mean, he should have been in jail 40 years ago over AIDS.
Yeah, AIDS, exactly. Yeah.
Yeah. You keep an eye on me. We watch out when we're talking about Fauci and stuff like that. We are on YouTube again. They let us back on.
Well, that was 2 minutes ago. We're banned again, I'm sure.
Yeah. Well, we haven't done anything yet except for Jewish.
Well, that'll be enough, I'm sure.
Yeah, maybe just they have a making fun of the NDP detector there. That'll get us.
Oh yeah, we are on YouTube. Nice.
Yeah. It was 1 week, which somehow was 9 days. They called it a week.
Right.
Let's see here. This is a good one too. We'll share this. We'll watch a bit of this. So it ties into Galen Weston and Jewish. The NDP policy convention was what's going on in Hamilton. That was in Hamilton too. What the hell's going on there?
Was it? Oh, okay.
Yeah. Just shout out to Rebel News. Give them a like here.
Well, I'm sure it's pretty much only the liberals that like Fauci. Or the NDP. Yeah, who knows?
Just getting this queued up. Rumble doesn't make it easy because as soon as you get to the start, it starts playing again. My God. One of these days, these guys will get it. Okay. And then full screen. And this is hilarious. This is like that socialist convention a few years ago. They couldn't even get anything going because they're all fighting with each other over pronouns and shit.
Right.
Can someone, I'm going to ask you to leave.
And they should not be up at the mic speaking, voting, or anything else.
There is a lot for us to discuss right now, and that is what I am doing.
I want to take this quick moment and just acknowledge the work of the activist communities, of the work of the anti-fascists who are on the front lines against hate day in and day out, against the violence that they're unleashing in our communities.
Now, I very quickly want to outline a few things, because this weekend is about what an NDP government would look like.
The NDP were too busy arguing over microaggressions and wasting their time announcing their pronouns to pass any real policy plans at their latest convention in Hamilton. And as a parent, I think we should be glad for that. I'll explain. But I watched the sideshow, so you didn't have to. In Hamilton's fate in Ontario, the third party, which relegated itself to a pathetic fate, as the Socialist Caucus of the Federal Liberal Party of Canada met to decide their vision for Canada's fate and future. And it was everything you imagined and more. For example, just look at their safety protocols. Accessibility features offered at the convention this year. A quiet room with a HEPA air purifier. So if you've been triggered by something that somebody said, you can go in the quiet room and then also satiate your extreme left-wing hypochondria at the very same time. It's in room 204 in case you get lost. There was special speaking priority for gender equity. So ladies and members of the LGBT community got priority speaking. White males back of the line.
We have equity speaking rules at this convention. If you identify with a gender other than man and you would like to identify for priority speaking, please have your yellow card with you.
There was...
If you identify as a gender other than man, you get a card. You get to go to the front of the line. Also white. So the last people to speak are white men.
Mask and hand sanitizer readily available, again, for that left-wing hypochondriac in your life. It goes on. Frequent sanitization of common spaces and surfaces. Again, just feeding the feedback loop of hypochondria. And immediate access to the convention's accessibility coordinator. So if you needed to complain about them not doing enough to accommodate your hypochondria, you could just go directly to the convention's accessibility coordinator. Now, let me be clear. I disagree with progressive principled on alternative to the Liberals, but...
Remember when the NDP were all right?
Literally everything they stand for. However, say what you will about the NDP, and Lord knows that I have. They used to fashion themselves as a progressive principled alternative to the Liberals, but now they prop up the Liberals. You know, all that liberal corruption you can't stand. If not rewarded, it's completely enabled by the NDP, who maintain the Liberal stranglehold on power by voting education solution.
All right, more of the shit
Canada
show.
By Section 6, strengthening human rights and the Canadian identity. Section 6-3, LGBTQI2S+.
So, fucking Rumble. Come on, guys. Let me pause it without this button on here. It's the LGBTQ2S+ resolution. And then by the time they got down to writing the whereas section, it's LGBTQI2S+.
Right.
What's the I?
Intersex?
Intersex. And then Justin's been doing 2 Qs lately.
Two
What's
Qs.
the second? Yeah, what's the second Q?
I don't know.
Questioning.
Questioning, maybe?
Yeah,
okay.
between the two of us, we almost got this down.
We're in questioning? Okay.
Yeah. And then what's the plus? It's just
Plus-
everybody else?
Everybody else, yeah.
Okay.
I don't know.
So it's all these individuals that we've got to list out, and then at the end, it's everybody.
Yeah.
Yeah. God, they don't even know, man.
Yeah. Was it Matt
Add a
Walsh?
subsection M based on the following. Whereas Pride Month 2023 saw LGBTQ plus communities at schools across Canada targeted by sustained, organized, and well-resourced homophobic and transphobic violence, threats, and discrimination, be it resolved that in response to threats...
They're just putting it... Pride Month 2023 saw communities at schools across Canada targeted by sustained, organized, and well-resourced homophobic and transphobic violence.
Well, that was the March for Children or whatever it was. Probably they're talking about,
Or the
the Million March for Kids or whatever it was called.
yeah, Pride Month was July though, isn't it?
Oh God, I don't know. I don't really pay
I don't
attention.
even know. I know, but it like I assume it's when the parade is, and in Ottawa that was July, I think.
Right.
So
Right.
that would have been like maybe the school board meeting where a few people showed up.
Possibly.
You know who was sustained, organized, and well resourced is the queers,
Yeah.
not us. There's
The
just
million-
a bunch of people down there, all on their own devices. There isn't even like an organization.
Yeah, because the Million March was in September, I think. Yeah. I don't know.
Yeah,
It's all
but
blurred.
this story. Sorry, just talking to our guests there. Yeah, that this story. This is what really works with people. I mean, I've spoken with cool people. They're otherwise like really on point, who are like, yeah, you know, we need to have even debate and then for free speech and stuff. But the rising right wing. The rising right, the right wing is rising in Canada, and I'm always just like, are they?
Yeah, where?
Who are they? Because supposedly now I'm right wing, and
Right.
I don't get the newsletter.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, I don't get the fanzine.
Those the perks.
Where? Yeah, exactly. I'm not paying the dues. I'm not getting the perks. I'm not, where is this rising right wing? And whenever I ask that, these otherwise sane people, they're like,
Yeah. Oh, it's just
now that you mention it,
yeah,
I'm not sure where they are or who they are, but they sure are rising.
they're rising.
And they're the biggest danger in Canada.
This is
Meanwhile, we've got these queer groups that they're openly well funded by like our own government, let alone George Soros organizations and stuff like this. They're the ones that are organized and well resourced.
well, they're the most
Yeah.
most celebrated group of people in the West and Europe, and it's just I don't know.
No one ever talks about the rising left, who have been doing nothing but rise for, well, I mean,
20 years.
Take your pick, 80 years maybe if you really look at it. But yeah, the last 10 years has seen an absolute bonkers rise in openly militant left that are changing and transforming our culture.
What does rising right even mean? Like they said, they never define it. Like what?
No, just that it's rising.
Just that there's a conservative movement that might usurp their ideology momentarily. Best
Depends who you talk to, right?
Yeah.
But they thought this out wonderfully, as they always do. They quote unquote they fund all this radical queer ideology throughout schools and everywhere, force it into action, and then make it radically militant right wing to even question it. So of course, as we start to see things change in society without our permission or without talking to us, we get a little upset about it. And now we're the ones that are rising.
Yeah, I guess so.
So anything, because I mean, anything that you say against this stuff, a bunch of parents showing up to a school board meeting is homophobic violence.
Yeah, I'm just rising to fortifying the compound and making more money and
That's right.
in life, whatever.
Yeah, we're gonna rise off into the sunset.
Yeah, totally.
So I think this one's got the clip of the yellow card. I'm going to
That's
keep
an
going
acts
here
of
because you got to
violence
see
against
the
Pride
yellow
Week
card.
events and gender expression in schools and universities, that we condemn all forms of homophobia.
And then even one more paragraph later, and they've cut out a bunch of it again. 2023 saw LGBTQ plus. Like the person writing it has just given up at this point. I don't know.
Yeah, maybe.
Transphobia, hate, bullying, bigotry, intimidation, and violence. Be it further resolved that we applaud the educators, school board trustees, parents, students, allies, and elected officials who refuse to be intimidated by homophobia and transphobia. Here's the rub. Be it further resolved that we proclaim a future NDP government would never grant public funds to educational institutions that harbor discriminatory practices. And let me be clear here, their version of discriminatory practices is letting Christians be Christians, letting social conservatives be social conservatives, and letting parents know what the heck is going on in school. That to them, that's discrimination. So much
And you would like to
announcing their pronouns on the microphone that they didn't get any real work done.
We have equity speaking rules at this convention. If you identify with a gender other than man and you would like to identify for priority speaking, please have your yellow card with you.
Could I invoke gender parity in this discussion and also?
Excuse me, I was recognizing the delegate in purple ahead of you. And the answer to the question about whether you can invoke the gender equity rules is if you identify with a gender other than man, you may wave a yellow card at me and we will prioritize your speaking. Delegate on microphone 2 in purple, please.
Thank you, Chair. I'm confused why you went to a con speaker that was male presenting when the previous speaker was male presenting. I think it's in our Constitution and our rules of order and chairing that we honor gender parity.
Well,
so I would like to speak.
I'll correct you there, delegate. We have gender equity rules that require that as the chairperson, I balance pro and con speakers, but also when delegates identify themselves with yellow cards, they get priority. And it would be wrong of me to look at a delegate and determine anything about their identity. If delegates would like to identify themselves for the purposes of the equity speaking rules, I'll encourage you to get a yellow card.
Now, don't you think for a second that the provincial iterations of the NDP party are any different? It is all the same party based on the party structure. What that means is the NDP, wherever they are, they don't respect parents. Now, thank goodness.
You believe the cuckery of that guy?
Oh God!
It's like
The fact that this even is happening is just a joke. Form a line of people who want to ask questions like you used to do back in the day, and everybody asks their question. Like, who gives a fuck about the rest? You know? Unreal.
The guy's asking permission to speak as a man.
He doesn't have a yellow card. You don't have the yellow card.
Yeah. Oh my God. All right. Gonna get out of this and we'll get back to Twitter feed and go through the last few bits. Vigilant Fox does this every week. This guy's a great account. Goes through the top 10 things no one's telling you. Here we go. Pfizer stock is taking a dive as no one wants their vaccines anymore. I put a tweet up for us about this. The Ontario graph of uptake is hilarious. It's gone from 6 million for the second booster to, it's hard to tell. It's so small on the graph. Maybe 10,000 people.
Oh, wow. Really?
Yeah. For the 7th booster, there are people walking around that took the shot and have had 7 boosters.
Wow.
And they're just begging for more. Which is just, I mean, when does it ever end?
You had COVID.
Say again?
I'd be curious to know how many times those people have had COVID already.
Oh, there's a great one. I should have got it ready. I'm trying to think now. It's going to be a little tricky to find because it's a few days old. There's a great account on Twitter called Petrified COVID Parent, and it's like a parody account of like the ultimate scared COVIDian. And he posted this screechingly loud voice on Twitter. This teacher that goes on and calls us all sorts of names and stuff like that. Has had COVID, just got off of COVID for the 5th time. and still N95 masks and can't wait to get her 8th booster.
Yeah. So what are we 3 years into this now? 3 years?
Though, I guess, you know, so it was summer 2020 when the boosters showed up. Fall 20.
Yeah. So 3 years and no shots, no boosters. And if I have had COVID, I must have been completely asymptomatic. So
Yeah. I got a horrible cold while I was working, and that did test positive for COVID.
Right.
But it took 3 tests. The first one blanked, error. Second one, what happened to the second one? I can't remember.
First, you don't succeed.
Well, yeah, exactly, right? You
Yeah.
know, I mean, keep at it. You got COVID.
One'll turn positive on you.
Said I had COVID, but I mean, whatever. It was like any rough flu.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then did you see Trump talking about WHO?
No, I haven't really been paying Trump too much lately. To be
Yeah, I
honest.
know. It's kind of different now. Let's see here. I'll pull it up quick.
The World Health Organization has become nothing more than a corrupt globalist scam paid for by the United States but owned and controlled by China. When the China virus reached our shores 3 years ago, the World Health Organization disgracefully covered the tracks of the Chinese Communist Party every single step of the way. For this reason, it was my great honor to terminate America's relationship with the World Health Organization. The United States was paying the World Health Organization almost $500 million a year. When I dropped out, I took it out of there. And for 330 million people, even though China was paying only $40 million for 1.4 billion people. So we had 330, they have 1.4, and we're paying more than 10 times the amount. That's typical for the United States because they don't know what the hell they're doing. Unfortunately, crooked Joe Biden foolishly re-entered the World Health Organization at the full price and without any negotiations or reforms. And now Biden is pushing to bypass the United States Senate to enter a pandemic treaty that would surrender American sovereignty to the World Health Organization, again controlled by China. The draft treaty would require the United States to send vast quantities of medical supplies to other countries in the event of another pandemic, and it would push aggressive censorship of free speech on issues of public health, just like they censored the truth about the Wuhan lab, which I said that's where it came from, remember. Under the next Trump administration, that treaty will be immediately terminated. I would not allow public health to be used as a pretext to advance the march of global government. That's what they're doing, globalists. The United States will withdraw from the corrupt World Health Organization, which, in light of its utter failure on COVID, they had a tremendous disaster on COVID, deserves to be completely abolished and replaced. Then I will work to forge a new coalition of nations that are strongly committed to protecting health while also upholding sovereignty and freedom. I want to thank you very much, but I also want to say this. I could have renegotiated the deal. I could have gone into the World Health Organization for $25 million. Biden didn't take that deal. He's paying almost $500 million. They were so anxious to get the United States back after I terminated the agreement. They were so anxious to get it back that they offered me a deal, $25 to $30 million. And I said, no, I'll wait. Could have gotten it for less, but I didn't want less at that point. We were paying almost $500 million. Could have done it for 25 to 30.
That's crazy.
Biden took the almost the $500 million deal. He knew he could have gotten back in for less. So why did he pay so much? But that's just one of many things that are wrong with our country. Thank you very much.
All right.
Well,
and that's actually not the clip that I saw. And the other clip I saw, he's like, you vote for me and we're out. We're leaving the WHO forever. It's a corrupt shithole.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, dude's amazing. And then one more I'll share before we bring in the Holmes. Just getting set up here. For the second time, they had this brave British member of parliament. Oh, he doesn't have video. Oh, yes, he does. Okay, I'm going to share this. For the second time, this same guy booked time in British Parliament and stood up to talk about the excess deaths, the mysterious excess
Andrew
deaths.
Bridgen. It's Andrew Bridgen.
Thank you, Mr. Deputy Speaker.
Look at that. Look at the guys
We've experienced
ducking
4
to get out of
excess
there.
deaths since July 2021 in the whole of 2020. Unlike the pandemic, however, these deaths are not disproportionately of the old. In other words, the excessive deaths are striking.
And in the People's Gallery, you can hear people cheering. You can hear the British people cheering for him.
Down people in the prime of life. But no one seems to care. I fear history will not judge this House kindly.
But look at it, and it was the same thing. It's a complete replay. This guy did this a year and a half ago-ish.
Yep.
Same thing. They gave him late last thing Friday. So the place was going to be empty anyway, and then anybody who's still there effed off, right?
Yep. Wow.
But I mean, at least he's getting it into the record, you know. It's kind of like the NCI where you're like, oh, what are we going to accomplish? But it's getting it on the record.
Yeah,
that can be read back. So that's something. What a week!
Yep.
What a week! Oh, and the Black Lives Matter leader is standing behind the January 6th prisoners and says, "Vote for Trump."
Weird.
Yeah. Right. Yeah. All right. So without any further ado, we've become aware of some people that have been following the show and following CanadianPatriot.org, Matthew Arrett and Cynthia Chung, kind of, super followers of them. We got in touch through our Rumble chat recently and found out that this might secretly be the Awakest family in Canada. And we're going to bring them on. All six. This is a record for the show, by the way. Yeah. I'll see if the software can handle it. Without any further ado, we'll intro the Holmes family.
Hey, we are the most awake fam from Canada, you know. Mom and Dad, the kids all watching Super and Matthew. Yeah, we're at home when we're together. We're at home with the Holmes. We're at home with the Holmes. We're at home.
All right, look at this wall of people.
What an intro.
That's bloody hilarious.
I couldn't resist. I was trying to find like something to be like a sitcom, you know, like, who's the boss or something. Give me some time. We'll get there. So we all meet. So we are. Where's Daddy? Down at the bottom. Mommy, Noelle in the middle, and then by descending order of age, who's the eldest?
That would be me.
Sebastian,
Yeah,
and then
me.
Kyle, and then finally got some girls at the end. So like perfectly balanced family in more ways than one, I would say. So Mike, you got in touch with us a couple weeks ago. And what made you reach out like that, man?
Well, first off, hey Rhain, hey Jay.
Hey.
Mainly, we are huge advocates for CanadianPatriot.org, Rising Tide Foundation. So I'm going to pump it. We've got the books, Proof of Life. We have them all. Everything that they have written, so that way it can be seen. Our word is good, and their words are great.
Yeah.
And then. Through following Matthew's work, and then he got involved with because of his passion of trying to get out documentaries and whatnot. And then that's how I found out about you, because you held the premiere for one of his videos, and then that was it. Once I found out that you were a part of his operation, and we started following you, and then of course it's just a matter of we wanted to get within kind of 1 degree of separation of you guys, if not even a situation like this. So
that's fantastic. How did you become aware of Matt and Cynthia's work?
If I recall correctly, I believe it was when Reiner Fulmick was still with the Corona Investigative Committee.
Yes.
And or very early, because I was following it right out of the gate. The whole COVID thing put us into a sort of like a 5-alarm fire of having to start to update our map to what the hell was going on, because some stuff was smelling in the state of Denmark, if you will. But anyways, that being said, it was a presentation, if I'm not mistaken, that Matthew offered. And then, because I think at the same time, it was the same program, because he was running like 6-hour programs at that time with the Corona Investigative Committee. So I think like Whitney Webb was on there. I think even at one point, like Ryan Christensen from Last American Vagabond. So it just opened up a new world of individuals. But yeah, that's I think where I first ran into math, if I'm pretty sure that's it.
Yeah, so funny you mentioned that. Was our channel, we were kind of farting around. We get on and bullshit once or twice a week, anything from all the politics that was bubbling up. I think we started broadcasting 2019, might have been late 2018, and just a couple of guys kind of going at her, and then the truck showed up in Ottawa. And while that was going on, the Corona Investigative Committee started in Germany, and I managed to catch wind of the hype on that, and caught it right from the start. And then the first episode, I think the first guest was Matthew Ehret. This kid I'd never heard of before, and just proceeded to, without inhaling, I think, go on for about 20 minutes. City of London, Venice, all this stuff, like I was like, yes. And immediately reached out and got you. Maybe our first outside guest we ever had, Rhain.
Yeah, he was one of the first ones. Yep,
might have been. It shocked us with like, yeah, sure, I'll come on. We're like, whoa, we had like 8 subscribers or something. But we were exploding with Convoy. I was in Ottawa at the time, and now both of us are up here at the SuperSpreaders compound in Yukon. Well, really, it's the Rhain compound, but it's fun to call it the SuperSpreaders compound. And I just bugged out here now this end of summer, but back then I was in Ottawa, so I was out there every day with a gimbal, just like all those other people covering the convoy, and that gave us explosive growth, especially when we ran into when I hunted down Viva Fry with GPS and it popped onto his channel, and that got us like 2,000 followers in 30 seconds for real. And that's why we still bother to even broadcast to YouTube, who cancels us every other week. We just had Dr. Joe Lee on. I don't know if any of you guys caught that. And we forgot to end the stream and immediately canceled us for a week. So this is our debut back on YouTube, but we just use it as a notification technique to anybody that's still over there. Anyway, so I'm on the scenic route. Found out about Matt the same way, and it's been a journey ever since. For the time that we had him on, I was so honored to have him on, and the guy had so much to say that I thought I should make a little explainer video of one of the concepts that I heard him talk about and stuff, and that impressed him so much, and that's what turned into the current kind of cooperative endeavor where I'm editing films for him. And it's quite the adventure. I've been over to the house there. That's something else. That feels like being in
Library of Alexandria.
Yeah, like you're in like Aristotle's group, and you're like and you're meeting like on the weekends with like other people that are going to go down in history, and they're all so friggin' smart. And like one of them's writing poetry, and and the other one's arguing about the existence of God or the soul or whatever, and the other one's talking about Shakespeare and stuff like this. It's just like wow, it's got a really good scene going on there. So for you guys, you built a podcast studio down there.
Yeah, I mean it's crude by contrast, but I mean, yeah, the point was at one point was to something I guess so you would say is like very minuscule in the grand strategies of like what Matthew Arrett does, because I'd always felt that there was areas of growth in the minds of people, especially for us. We're also huge fans of Dr. Ian McGilchrist's work, Master and His
Yeah.
Emissary, a book that he put out in 2009. Yeah, there it is. The girls have it.
Yeah.
And so it's stemmed from the know thyself type of philosophical point of view outwards. Just COVID happened, and then a whole lot of other things sort of transpired, and then we realized civic duties weren't what we thought they were, and we needed to not be the family that votes once every 4 years, and we got ostracized as a clan for not taking the vaccine. So just all of that, as that unfolded, the room kind of just got sort of put on the back burner. But it was still kind of one of those, the universe has a funny way of doing things. And so,
Okay,
yeah,
so you
it's
felt
coming in handy.
You're like us. You felt the push, like, you know. I mean, Rhain and I are not. We're normally just keep to ourselves kind of people, right? I mean, I had a band back in the 90s, so I like being on stage, but I was the drummer. And so that's like my personality to a T. I don't want to be the lead singer. So coming on and doing a video show is kind of like against the grain for both of us, but we just felt so pushed to vent, at least vent. And then you see good channels out there that are venting and they're getting a following, and you know, maybe they're changing a mind or two here and there even. So we thought we'd try. I guess you guys felt the same push. We're going to go to NDP rules. I want yellow cards. So females get primacy now. I want a female to answer. Has this been like an awakening, or you think the family has kind of always been this way with your mental disease of right-wing militarism, or is it a gradual thing, or you just felt like you were common sense and now common sense is crazy? The female to answer, please.
Go ahead, Mom. You got it. We weren't awake before COVID. We're shameful. We weren't awake before COVID, and then COVID hit, and then once finding people like Matt, and at the very, very beginning, Jordan Peterson, and just different names, we really realized how far behind we were. And so, but instead of like just catching up slowly, Mike and Kyle and the girls and Seb, they do a lot of reading faster than I can ever read, and they've caught up very fast.
Right. So, I mean, we're kind of family that thought like, you know, Lee Harvey Oswald shot JFK and the planes brought down the towers, that kind of unawake, or?
No, not that bad, because
right.
we smelt something bad in the water with those situations. We could just never put our finger on it.
Yeah, obviously. I mean, you guys are you can't kind of awake to critical thinking in and of itself. Obviously, everybody's got that. It's just well, I don't know, left alone would mostly just want to get through life and have a family and have a job and have fun, and you know, I guess that's what you mean. You were more in that stream.
Yeah, we were working hard, hanging out with our kids, and just kind of keeping to ourselves. And all of a sudden, it was like, oh, the government's out to kill us, and we were really behind. And oh, Matthew Arrett's going to tell us the way history really was, and everything we learned in school was a lie. Great.
Yeah, right. Yeah, what's for dinner?
Yeah.
Was there something specific though? Because I don't think either Matt nor Jordan Peterson were necessarily anti-vax.
So unfortunately, I got my kids all the regular vaccines, and when the vaccine was coming out, Mike can probably tell his story better, because we were just like discussing it at the very, very beginning, whether or not we would go down that path, because we really didn't know. And it was Michaela Peterson who had Dr. McCullough on, and at the bottom bottom of the screen it said COVID-19, and it was his book. And I said to Mike, "You got to read this like now. I have a feeling you just need to read this." And so Mike read it like, I think it was in a day, and then he's like, "Oh, well, we can't take the vaccine." And I'm like, "Really?" And he's like, "No, we can't." And then Seb.
Mercola is amazing. And it continues to trouble me that I mean, it's great that Elon brought him back on, but that was under immense pressure. But you still can't share a link on Twitter or X or whatever the hell it's called. You still can't share a link from his website.
No, you can look at his articles every single morning, and then they disappear within a day if you're not subscribed.
He's had to delete them now. Yeah, he auto deletes them, and he's been destroyed off everything. Personally gone after until I'd say Andrew Tate on the scale of Alex Jones. They went after him to the extent that they were going after his website and his banking and all this stuff. Is the number one purveyor of vaccine misinformation, and I mean his articles are they're incredible. I'm subscribed, so I get.
I would say he's the reason that my family's not jabbed, and he kind of saved all of our lives. So
Yeah. I'd love to tell him that someday.
Right?
Yeah. Everybody promote, and we're gonna keep at this. If we can get up, if we can get up the 5-6 figures on subs, I'm sure Joe will come on and
yeah, let's do it.
yeah. Gold squad goals. Yeah, so so now we're gonna go orange card. A children has to answer. How did this journey appear from your side? Like oh my god, my parents are going nuts, or were you there first? Were you there first, telling them, or how did that work as a child of awakening parents?
I'll just go a bit briefly. Our parents, I don't really think we've ever looked at them like they're crazy, because to be completely honest, like we've been raised to be critical thinkers all our lives. It's just we weren't necessarily raised on the politics of the world.
Mm-hmm.
So it's like in terms of psychology and like understanding behaviors of people, that was kind of like always a observe and then report back to what you've observed. And so communication in our household has always been encouraged. It's like we never not talked to our parents about what was going on in school, and they'd ask us questions about what we thought about certain people and their dynamic, and even ourselves, like introspection wise, right? But when it came to like the awake part of it felt more like it felt normal transitioning into that. But I remember one time though when we were just going down a bit of like the integrating new people into our lives. Jordan Peterson was like the first person where we started getting introduced to the intellectual dark web. And I remember one time I went down to the basement to my dad. I was like, I feel threatened by this Jordan Peterson, because I was like in my comfort zone. And then I was like, okay. No, he actually has a lot of good things to say. And then we kind of went from there.
That's because you have an agreeable personality. Yeah, right. But then weren't you guys all surrounded? I mean, it's a few years ago. So you guys are definitely on the older side, but weren't a bunch of you surrounded by people who were telling you that Peterson and Satan himself and rising right wing and stuff like that? Did you have friends that were like that? No? Alberta's pretty cool.
Yeah.
We did out here. I mean, for me, I was in Ottawa in the Lion's Den, and just immediately cut off from certain people, immediately isolated. Especially once this hit, it destroyed my studio business. I had to go back to working in kitchens. I'm a chef as well. You just feel like you're all alone in a place like that. I imagine it's much cooler in Alberta. You guys are kind of rural-ish.
Smack dab in Calgary.
Yeah.
Oh, you're okay. So probably not that much better. Wherever they build enough high buildings, everybody starts going a little crazy.
I think we felt really alone until the trucker convoy, because when we were standing on the side of the road and leaving those guys onto Ottawa, we were like crying, and
yeah,
we didn't honestly know that there was that many people out there that believed what we believed.
It's such a more as immense a feeling as it was when it was happening. It's becoming clear. It's just so much more than we ever thought it was. It touched the entire world that way. I'm kind of speechless to try to sum it up. It was really life altering. It's the only real show of force for truth at that time. It really saw us through.
Well, and it still lingers too, right? Like, so me and Macy, we have an international youth group where we try to encourage youth from like 12 to 25 to come that are critically thinking, just find a place where they're not ostracized for having different views. And we were invited to speak at a We Unify conference in BC, where there were a bunch of different speakers, including Chris Barber from the Convoy, just to talk about solutions for Canada and reclaiming Canada. And I personally had forgotten the impact of the Convoy till we were there and then reminded. And seeing the people that were actually leading the charge, it was a big eye-opener as to how significant it really was and still is, especially for Canadians.
The National Citizens Inquiry was deeply important to remind of that. How often that was brought up by people giving testimony, and especially I was able to attend the Ottawa hearings, and there were several times where it resulted in, Sean Buckley brought it up and gave like many talks about it, and there were people crying again and standing ovations and stuff. Just what a watershed moment that was. It's going to go down like with the Tea Party and stuff like that in history if we get to keep history. If we get to keep it, there's, as we all know, it's being eroded as we speak. The history is being changed. Words are being changed.
The winners write it.
The winners write it, and everybody loves to throw that around as a popular, witticism, and you see it in movies, and everybody agrees the winners write history, but a vast amount of our population just they say that, and then they forget what the actual consequences are. The consequences are that almost everything is a lie.
Yeah.
Or at least has a cake of crust on top that you got to dig through, because it's all winners' history, all of it, and it takes some effort, and not a lot of effort, right? It's not an extreme amount of effort to at least uncover the alternative views of what's happened in history, but it takes some effort. It takes a lot more than swiping through headlines on your phone.
Well, I like what Brett and Heather say, where it's like, welcome to complex systems. It's like history is way more complicated than like, is it black or white? I mean, like even with like the Israel and Palestine situation, it's like, it's not so one or the other. It's complicated.
Yeah. All right, we're going to go to black card. We're going to take child man. All right, we're down to Sebastian Kyle. You guys you're still living at home? You're on the compound together? Or are you guys out in are you all still at the compound?
No, we live together. We're
nice.
still in suburban Calgary. Like, we're not on the edge of town in some rural location. We're in one of the many neighborhoods that are a part of this city. So, but yes, we still do live together. Yeah.
It's an ideological compound.
Yeah, you could call it that.
Yeah.
I mean, I wouldn't disagree with you. That's what it turned into, for sure.
The ideology is free thinking.
Right.
Yeah, right?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Pro
humanity, first of all, and most importantly.
Yeah. Nice.
How is Calgary politically these days?
The further downtown you go, the more left-leaning I find people's political leanings are. That's not to say that everybody's like that, but even just from what I remember about the marches at the height of the pandemic, it wasn't always well received by people, even in traffic or just on the sidewalks. They were flipping us off and screaming at us and honking at us.
People still wearing masks down there?
Occasionally, yeah, you'll see it. Sometimes I've seen people sitting in their car alone wearing those things, which is it's a laugh, but also frustrating. I've seen parents go grocery shopping and their kids are masked up, and they're running like a sort of like a little train, trying to avoid coming anywhere near other people.
Yeah. The performative. This is what you get all the time. You go to the grocery store and you see the wacky COVIDians with the 8 masks on, and walking like this, like you're going by for a can of tomatoes, and they do this whole like, it's like performative modern dance routine, signaling to the world how much they're getting out of your way to maintain that hockey stick distance.
I mean, if you really want to have some fun, fake a sneeze.
Yeah. Well, I remember when they had the fear pinned up for this, before it was just about to obviously to be declared a pandemic and everything was still quasi normal. I remember just no secret here, I'm a big smoker. Then I just had a big like cough at work, and like everybody dropped everything. And somebody in the back said, "I heard that." COVID. Like, no, it's just a cough. I'm a smoker. But you can see the world prepping up, and then that's why Rhain and I, just kept on broadcasting and tried to. You could see this coming. The moment they announced it, we were both just like, no, this is bullshit. Well, okay, I'll hedge my bets a bit. Like I when they first announced it, I'm like, I'm gonna go into I got my paper towel, I got my hoarded food, I got my zinc, and I'll stay inside for the 10 days or whatever, and see if there's zombies walking around in the streets, see if people are dropping dead like the Black Death. After a few days, that wasn't happening. Right? Yeah.
Zombies would have been better.
Zombies would have been better. Yeah, you can just shoot them.
Yeah, more fun.
Get some gun practice. Yeah, good point. And Kyle, what do you do out there?
Right now, I've been working as a butcher. So,
nice.
Nice.
Yeah.
We just got a whole bison up here. We just got a whole bison up here. We
Sorry,
can use your services.
There we go.
No worries.
Well, yeah, like I didn't actually mean to be a butcher. I used to work security, and I lost that job. Started working for a warehouse for a little bit, and then ended up through a Facebook ad working for a little freedom group-oriented butcher place. And I started packing meat there, and then they appreciated my work ethic, lost a few of their actual cut crew, and then offered me a position, and I've been doing that for about a year and a half now.
Freedom-oriented butchery. That's like the best sentence I've said all week. That's fantastic. So you lost that job over vaccination?
Yeah. So I used to work in hospital security, and when all the mandates came down, I got pushed out of the hospital sector, and so I started guarding like a warehouse parking lot, night shift only, nothing happening. And then I ended up getting fired from there for my own failure to stay awake on shift. And then,
all right, well, yeah. Can't vaccinate against that, I guess.
No.
Rhain, I cut you off. Did you have a question for Kyle?
That was the same question you just asked, so all good.
All right, cool. Were there other experiences of job loss or other crappiness in the family with these shots? Yeah, no kidding. What happened?
Are you pointing? Okay, yeah. Well, I also was working hospitals. Well, I am still working hospital security, but don't worry, no poking me. That was an interesting story because it was right around the time, and I'll keep it short, but it was right around the time we all started to really get world conscious about starting with the jabs, obviously, and then moving on into stuff like what my dad said, Matthew Arrett's work and all that. But they were issuing the mandates, and I told them ahead of time, like, under no circumstances am I going to get it. And they didn't like that, so they tried to get me to sign pieces of paper saying that I have to like tell them my vaccination status. And I said I'm not going to do that either. And then they said, okay, well, you can't work at the hospitals anymore because our client, because we're contract security, we're not in-house, our client wants you to get it. And I said, that's nice, I don't care, I'm not getting it. However, if you have another sector or another client that doesn't care about this nonsense, I can work for them. And so luckily I didn't lose my job. I almost did. I had to negotiate with them for a while, but they found me a job guarding a parking lot for a liquor store not too far from my house. And then I'll sum it up with the mandates ended, and then they were so desperate for staff and people like me who had experience in the field that they begged me to come back. So
right, and you're like $3 more an hour. Thanks. I'll be right
that,
back.
and I still won't be taking no poke, and they said that's fine. So
yeah, brilliant. Like I said, I had to go back to the restaurants. It was the same thing there. After a wave of pushing people out because they wouldn't vaccinate, all of a sudden, by the time that I needed to come back, right at the end of the convoy, they weren't even asking. They're just, please, somebody sane show up. That human bodies that can heat up meat. Let's go.
Yeah.
Like and without even asking, fully $3-4 more than the last time I'd ever worked, which was maybe 3-4 years before that.
Wow.
Well, the entire industry's been destroyed. Restaurant industries is turned upside down, and everybody just floats from job to job. They want more money. They can all call in sick whenever they want. I went back for a year, and it was just, who called in sick today? Everybody's got COVID today. Everybody can call in with the slightest sniffle now because of COVID mania, right? It's things that would have got people fired back last time I worked, just a few years before. It's completely metamorphosed the entire country and our whole society. This thing is, if it wasn't planned, it was sure happy accident for a certain group among us.
Well, I mean, that's kind of funny though. You say that, change the world, and because of our consciousness and our awareness, we still talk about it. But if you go outside and mention COVID, people are like, why are you still bringing that up? Why are you still talking about COVID? COVID is over now. COVID is done. And as if they're like trying to sweep it under the rug.
Yeah.
We have a saying in our household now, like it's a pretty new one, where it's like, you can ignore reality, but you can't ignore the consequences of reality. So it's like, no, COVID's like, although like aftermath of that, it's still like, especially with the vaccines, like every push of little distraction that they can get to get like deviate from that, it's just it's tragic.
Yeah.
Watch for the YouTube drop.
Yeah, we're pushing it again.
Yeah.
I'll make it, so I'll immediately delete it after here. I think I'll end it now, actually, while we're chatting. And
people should watch on Rumble anyway. To hell with the YouTube.
Yeah. 100%.
Yeah. The trick is, though, the infrastructure there is so good. Rumble is nothing but infuriation, just trying to use it the way YouTube's like, you're in this network that you've created, and you're just like, why, yes, that's an excellent looking recommended video. Thank you very much. I'll click on that now. And while I'm watching that, it's whatever, exposing the Venetian theocracy or whatever, part 1. Well, in the recommended on the side is part 2, just waiting for me, and it'll autoplay. Rumble is just a bunch of videos, nothing, no interest for me whatsoever. Playback's weird. As a creator, I can't make playlists. We have this live show. We're trying to rely on them. I can't make the placeholder video that announces supposedly to our subscribers that we're going to go live until in less than 24 hours before we go live. I can't get the chat from Rumble to show up here. People on YouTube, if they talk, I can put it up on the screen. Like they got a long ways to go, but it's something. And they even stood up directly to the British government, who tried to get them to kick Tate off, and it directly said, "F you, fancy Brits. Take that, King Charles." So they definitely earned it, and they earned trust so far. But boy, they got to improve the system, man. Wow. But what can you do, right? It gets us out there. We've got 1,000-something subs, and it gets out there. It's better than nothing, and they're not going to turn the channel off while we're
try to support people
right?
who don't hate you.
Yeah, right. So it's all good. So I think we'll call it there. We're at the end of the show. We just wanted to pop on and do a roundup and meet the Holmeses. You guys, would all of you, some of you want to come back sometime and
Yes.
give us the
100%.
Albertan angle? Yeah, we'd love that. We'd love that. Maybe they have the at home with the Holmes spot.
Well, I just want to say thanks, Rhain, and thanks, Jay, for having us. Truly, this is a privilege, really.
Yep.
The privilege is ours, honestly. I mean, you got to remember, we're titillated that like people are come in the chat and say, "Oh, we watch a show and we watch Matt and his videos." It's exciting for us too, man. The privilege is all ours. So I want to thank all of you. It's amazing meeting you. And let's have you back on again. We're all busy people. Maybe every couple of weeks we'll have you sign in, say what's up at home with the Holmes, and we'll go from there. And then once you guys become super popular because it's such a cute family, you'll have us. You'll have us on as guests.
All right. Yo.
Looking forward to it.
Yeah. All right. Well, great meeting
All
you.
right. Okay. Good meeting you guys.
Yeah, thank you very much.
And we're gonna
It's
play
an
you
honor.
out with your theme song intro.
Hey, we are the most awake fam from Canada, you know. Mom and dad, the kids all watching Super and Matthew. Yeah, we're at home when we're together. We're at home with the Holmes. We're at home with the Holmes. We're at home.
that's a fucking AI. That's an AI.
It's got to be.
Yeah. Explains why it's so friggin' annoying.
Oh, wow. Yeah.
Well, I
we
bet
can
you 10-1 in 2028. That's what music will sound like.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. We're heading that direction already for sure.
But it was handy because I'm not about to go down there and lay down vocals. So,
Right.
yeah.
Yeah, me neither. Not for that.
No.
No.
No, you're not the like sunny sitcom voice singer. You're not the.
Oh.
No. We got to kind of be rocking. or you know, like it's got to be, like
something.
Yeah, something big, not
Yeah.
sitcom music.
Well, that's
Yeah.
cool. Yeah, I'd be curious to get them on again, or some of them on again. You know.
Yeah, well, you know, now that we know them, interesting to see what's going to be going on with them. And agreed.
Yeah, I would have been curious to. I didn't get the chance to ask them what they thought of Daniel Smith. I think she's in power there now.
Yeah, right. So Alberta politics that occurred to me at one point too. I mean, the battle between the city and the country out there in Alberta, where you can go from. It's a battle between the party that wants to separate from Canada, basically. Don't tread on us, and let's just open up all the ground and spurt oil all over the world, to the NDP. You go back and forth to like an NDP government who nationally have like 8% of the vote or something.
Yeah, well, that's still maybe that Notley was even ever in power in that province. You know.
Well, I mean, there you go, Edmonton, Calgary. That's what that was.
Well, I guess, yeah.
Real.
Yeah.
It was just absolutely wild that the battle goes like that. That like separatist conservative party to socialist Joseph Stalin party, like you know. So yeah, let's get them back sometime, and we'll maybe dig into some of that, and you know, let's see what's up there.
Cool.
All right. Any other thoughts for the evening?
No, I'm just looking forward to some bison ribeye for dinner.
Bison ribeye steak tonight
for dinner. There we go.
Yeah. Rhain had an opportunity to trade some services for an entire bison, right?
Yep.
Yeah, like the whole thing. Yeah. We'll do some gas fitting and get a bison.
Get a bison.
Yeah, I mean, like, why not?
Why not?
And it's how many pounds?
600 and something.
600 pounds of bison, and this stuff is like beef, a little bit leaner, but like way more flavor. And the burgers, it tasted like there was beef bouillon in it.
Yeah.
So it's such a strong, meaty flavor.
Mm-hmm. Very good.
Yeah. Everyone will find out when they come running to the Yukon when the shit goes down.
There you go.
Yeah. They'll all be
Yes.
eating bison. They'll be hunting down bison and eating them live in the field. Yeah. All right, everyone. So the next appearance that we make is Friday at 4 p.m. PST, 7 p.m. Eastern. We have Sean Buckley on from the National Citizens Inquiry
Nice.
with big news for us. So that's
Right.
on Friday at 4. That will probably obviate a weekend cast. So we'll do the show on Friday, and that'll probably be it for the week, unless something blows up.
Yep.
Unless something Jewish
happens.
Unless Galen Weston raises prices again. No. All right, everyone.
Cool.
Great seeing you.
All right.
Let's
Good night.
spread it.